guys, welcome to Miss Nanini's Virtual Cooking Academy. Today's lesson is on kitchen fractions and the importance of following step-by-step instructions. And just a quick reminder that math and science and reading and good writing are real world skills. Today I'm going to bake a cake. Tristan, you got it right. There were some other good ideas. No, Cyrus, I'm not going to make anything explode in my kitchen. In fact, it's always my goal not to have that happen. It may have happened once or twice in my earlier years when I was cooking. Not anymore. Cookies sounded like a good idea, Cassidy, but Tristan got it. I am baking a cake. And as you can see behind me, I hope you can get a good view of it. I have listed the ingredients for my cake. So when you're making a cake, it doesn't say on there exactly, okay, get your ingredients together first. But that's always my first step, even before I do any of the other steps listed on the box, is I get all of my ingredients together. And they're all right here on my kitchen island. But I want to point out that when you look at some of these ingredients, you see a big 1, a 1, a 4, but when you get down here, you're starting to see those fractions. I don't know if you can tell from where you're seated or if I can get any closer, but you start to see 3/4, 1/4, and 3/4 again. So the Greek yogurt, the water, and the lemon juice, you're not seeing whole numbers there. You're not seeing a straight up 1 or a straight up 4. We're talking about fractions. Now in our world, when we talked about fractions, this is what we looked at. We looked at 1 of 4 little squares getting colored. This is that whole, and we would have colored 1 of the 4 equal pieces. 3/4 would have been 3 of the 4 equal pieces getting colored. But, I mean, that's not real life, is it? When you run into a fraction somewhere, it's not, oh, let me get out my marker real quick and draw a box and color in some pieces. It's understanding how that translates into other stuff, like, for example, baking. So I'm going to take my computer down and I'm going to show you guys my ingredients that I have ready. And then we're going to talk about measuring and how we can use those things like fractions in our cooking. So right here, you can see I have an island full of my ingredients and even some measuring tools with me. Now, I have 1, 2, 3 different measuring tools today. These are all different varieties of measuring cups. This one right here, if you can see very closely, down at the bottom it says cup, and up at the very top it says 1. Now let's take a look at that real quick. Notice that I don't fill this cup all the way up to the rim to measure 1 cup. I fill it up to this line right here to measure 1. You'll also notice some little fractions as I go up the side. 1/4. That means if this cup were divided into 4 equal parts, when I fill it up to this line, I would have filled it up 1 part of the 4 equal parts. But here, right here, if you can see it, that 1/3, that's what I'm going to be using today for, oh, no I'm not. I'm going to be using those what? 4ths. Even though I see some 3s, that 3 is on top. That means how many of those parts are going to get filled up. So I'm going to be looking at this 1/4 mark. And up here, 3/4, which you can see in real life is getting very close to being full, just like it is over here. 3/4 is very close to being full. Now, I'm going to need not only to have my ingredients ready, but I'm going to need to follow the recipe, the directions, which I have here on my phone, step-by-step directions. First, it says preheat oven to 350 degrees. Imagine what would happen if I were baking my cake and I forgot that step. Would my cake ever get baked? No. Well, maybe it would, because I might remember when I went over there to put my cake in, oh, I forgot to turn the oven on. I better preheat it now. But it would take a lot longer. And here's a quick little language lesson. Preheat means to heat before I need the oven. Pre means before or in front of. So let me go preheat my oven to 350 degrees. I'll be right back. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is get my mixing bowl ready, because step number 2, I almost messed up. Step number 2 says spray the inside of a cake pan with a non-stick spray. So, I'm going to take my cake pan and spray with a non-stick spray and put it to the side. Then it says step 3, combine pudding mix, cake mix, yogurt, eggs, lemon juice, and water into a bowl. 1 box of lemon cake mix, which means I don't have to measure anything. 1 is a whole number. When we're talking about fractions, that means put the whole thing in. Every last part of it is going in. So, am I going to have to measure this? Nope. I'm just going to dump the whole thing in. 1 means all of it. No matter what size that bag is, I'm going to dump every last bit of it, not take any parts out. Fractions are all about taking parts out, taking it apart. 1 whole means the whole thing, no questions asked. Let's see, I need 1 box of pudding mix. Now look at this. This is my pudding mix. It's a lot smaller than the cake. But because it's 1 whole, no parts, no fractions, whatever size this is, I take it and I dump it all in, the whole thing. Now, I'm really old school about my cooking, so once I do that, I take this neat thing called a whisk and I mix it up so that my cake batter and my Jell-O pudding mix are mixed in together, not one sitting on top of the other. And then I'm going to check my directions again, combine the pudding mix, the cake mix, the eggs. Let's see, how many eggs did it say? 4 eggs. Again, 4 is a whole number, so I don't have to use any parts. I'm just going to take every last bit of those 4 eggs, except the shell, and put it right on in there. I love the smell of cake batter in the afternoon. Delicious. Now, I've got a couple more things. 3/4 cup of Greek yogurt. Now what I've got right here, I don't know if you can see it, maybe just a little bit. It says 1/4. That's not the same as 3/4, is it? That means if I had a full-size cup, this is one of 4 pieces that it would take to make this full-size cup. I need 3/4, which means I need to fill this thing not one time, not 2 times, but 3 times with my Greek yogurt. So here I go. 1, 2, and by the way, I don't want anyone to get worried because I definitely did a pre-instruction this morning, and I washed my hands right before I started making this video. So no one has to worry about me cooking with dirty hands. That's another thing that I always do, just like getting my ingredients together. I always wash my hands before I start cooking. Now, 1/4 cup of water. I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to fill it up to the 1/4 mark. Be right back. All right, let's see. I don't know if you can see my cup. I'm not holding it quite straight, but you see that darkness right here around the 1/4? That tells me I've filled it up just right. 1/4 cup of water going in and 3/4 cup of lemon juice. Here's my lemon juice. That means I'm not going to just randomly fill this cup up. I have to measure 3 equal parts, which brings me all the way up here. 3 of the 4 parts are going to be filled up. Boy, I wish Miss Carrie were here with me right now, helping me make this cake, because she is so good at cake making, and you know what? I'm mostly only good at cake eating. 3/4 of a cup, or 3/4 of a cup. I'm really, really close to that line. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more. 3/4 of a cup. And now, I'm pretty sure the directions are going to say mix it all up. Let's see. Oh yeah. Whisk or mix until combined. Then I get to pour it in my pan and bake. Now, do you think my cake is going to turn out to taste good? I hope it is. I think it will. But if I had just randomly started pouring ingredients in and not measuring anything, do you think it would have been likely that my cake would turn out good? Probably not, right? We measured height, we measured length, and we talked about fractions. But when you're cooking, these two things actually go together, measuring and fractions, and it's a real life skill that's so very important. Maybe, if you ask nicely, your parents will help you measure and cook a cake this weekend, or some cupcakes or some cookies, or anything really, because cooking is math and cooking is science. So stay tuned. I might be posting a picture of what my cake looks like when it's ready, if it looks good, and if I don't, eat it all first, all right? But if I don't post a picture and I do eat it all first, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you again on Monday. Love you.